things are made from one, and in the end, all things return to one.
In other words, one is all.
Indeed, and all is one as well.
All is ultimately of the one. So if all is not included in the one, then all is nothing.
You have passed.
Psychopomp energy shows up when you're indecisive, because what the psychopomp is for, the psychopomp is to, in essence, guide you in between the realms, in between the land of the living and the land of the dead. But decision making, it's like if you're indecisive, then you're kind of like in a middle space, you know what I'm saying? And if you're in that vibration and in that middle space, that vibration, that frequency tunes into the radio station where you could find the psychopomps at. And beings that represent that psychopomp energy, And to maintain clarity, this is not saying a psychopomp is bad. What it is saying is that when you're in an indecisive, area, and you're a person though, like if you're a person that likes to make decisions for yourself, and you don't want to go into a space where others are making decisions for you, you just want to be aware of, like, all right, when you're being indecisive, the psychopomp energy shows up, in a person, place, or thing. And again, when that energy shows up, instead of sitting there and listening to that external psychopomp representation, maybe it would be better for you to just, like, soon as you sense that that person, place, or thing represents that psychopomp energy, it's like, all right, bam, that's just a sign that I need to make a decision. You know what I'm saying? Like, instead of, sitting there and, not to each his own, do what you, what I'm saying, do what feel, follow your intuition, and, do what you feel guided to and what feels best for you, just speaking of the truth of the matter. But again, take what resonates, leave what don't, because I'm not telling you what to do, and how to make your decision. Again, the irony or the paradox within the message. But but again, in that indecisive state, it's like being in the middle, in between worlds, because here's the world of, over here, the world of the decision you made, and over here, the world of, you not making a decision. And so you're in the middle of, like, should I make that decision? Or should I just keep it the same? And so you're vibrationally, and that's in essence the true, like, again, like being in a certain world or a different dimension, and sometimes it's turned into something so, like, like, oh, in a different dimension, but it's also just quite simply, even without your first eye being open, just understanding the fact that whenever you're in a certain vibrational frequency, you're tuned into a certain world, you're tuned into a certain dimension, when you're depressed, you're in a vibration of depression, you're in depression world, and just take a moment, what I'm saying? Like, think about moments when you were in depression world, when you're in depression world, you're in that vibration, you're in that world, they got other people in that world too, you know what I'm saying? And you may have, like, again, come across other people that's in depression world when you was in depression world. You know, could have been, again, like running into different people dealing with coping mechanisms, like over smoking or over drinking, because that's, again, like, that's what world you're in. But I digress. Just simply, you know, being decisive removes that psychopomp energy from appearing, because for the most part the psychopomp energy, you know, is also a representation of the trickster energy, and may have an ambiguous energy, like when it's time for you to make a decisions, and again, like, that's the rawness of the archetype. And then you get, you know again, different cultures, like, all right, we name this aspect of the way the universe works Legba. You know, we're gonna name the way this part of the universe work, you know, Loki. You know what I'm saying? Now, again, in some cases, yes, it is actual, you know, conscious, beings in essence, are, entities, but ultimately, what I'm saying, like, it's just based off of a raw expression, you know. But that's why all those little, you know, like crossing the crossroads, it's like having to make a decision, you know, because you had like the quote unquote crossroads. Should I go left? Should I go right? Making a decision. A psychopomp, like, hey, you know, and reason why, like, just in that moment, it's the subtle nuance of, understanding that everything is inside you first and foremost, and paying attention to the feedback loop of, how, you know, you create something, something shows up, and then you have to be aware of, things that are showing up that's a feedback from, say, for instance, when you was in negative thoughts. So in essence, as you seeing it externally, it's not for you to just go along with it just because you're seeing it. It's like, all right, no, that's a part of when I was sitting down worrying about so and so yesterday, and then now I'm seeing them. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, all right, no. But again, that subtlety of when that psychopomp shows up, it's like, oh no, I'm straight. I'm gonna sit here and, go within myself and make this decision. You know, like, yes, the external psychopomp can represent your internal psychopomp or ability. But again, in that moment, if it shows up externally, it's like, all right, oh, I'm straight. Like, I'm, like, I need to, like, all right. Because quite literally, that psychopomp can't exist in front of you if you, like, bam, I got this. Because literally it's like, all right, and you're not forced to have to, like, like, oh no, you gonna listen to, like, psychopomp, like, no, you gonna stay confused and let me be your psychopath. You know what I'm saying? Like, and again, with anything, yeah, just simply put, keep it there. Ain't gonna go on no tangent, you know. So when you get in that alignment internally, the psychopomp has no need to exist externally. And so the trick, or, what we getting at is, again, being aware that if you, get into an indecisive moment and that external psychopomp, shows up, it would be best to not sit there and just listen to, something external tell you what's best for you to do. Like, how could, like, yes, sometimes we're forgetful, sometimes we're not able to see certain things or catch certain things internally due to certain blockages, and we could use help from somebody outside of us. But it's like, man, your inner guidance is all like, it's never off, like it's always there for you. All every deity and you know God, goddess, like all that energy exists with you. Every archon, every aka every planetary archetype exists within you. You know what I'm saying? Like, like that's what it is. Every archon exists within you, whether you want to look at it from the aspect of you being source energy that in essence existed before the archons, and being like the parents of the archons. Like, whether you look at it from being an ancient, infinite energy that created the archons, and now in this experience as a human, or from the perspective of being in your human bodysuit, because the human bodysuit represents the matrix or the earth, with the firmament or the skin, you know what I'm saying? Being the biggest organ or the biggest archon, you know what I'm saying? But the archons is within on that level too, it's like it's on your bodysuit, hence why qigong and Tao exercises, in on a toxic level. That's why a lot of people don't acknowledge it and practice it, because it can like heal and eliminate a lot of, just external mess that you don't have to get yourself into. You feel me? You know, so that's why it's not, as popular. But again, like, the inner smile into your organs. Well, that way, doing the inner smile and doing Tao exercises, you done helped the Legba, the Loki, the Wednesday, the Anubis, the Thoth, the Yahweh, the Lilith, you know what I'm saying? Like, you done helped all those archetypes within yourself by doing the inner smile. And I realized that too, when I do the inner smile, because there's certain moments throughout my growth where when I'm doing something that could be really, really healing, it's almost as if the parasitic energies, within me, that be existing from, again, like foods, whatever, like they get very, very irate, like, like wanting to like, and I noticed that with doing my organ healing, it's like, man, it's, it must really be powerful, because a lot of times it, like when I'm releasing out, of course I realize that, like when you're doing something like stretching or like, like acupuncture or energy work to your body, when a certain point get hit, like you may hit a certain point that release a certain energy, and that may come with you like yawning or like a bunch of thoughts just like, you know what I'm saying? Because, like it hit a point and release some energy. So yes, there is that factor. But again, it's like, in most cases, like say for instance, when I go to get some wormwood or some black walnut for parasites in my stomach, then all of a sudden, like a crazy urge to want to go eat some cake might come up. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh no. It's almost like an energy as if you're like, oh, like eat some, like needing me to eat that cake in order for, them to survive in that sense. You feel me? And so I pay attention to the nature of that response, within things. Like if I go to, cleanse or do something healthy and it, you know, bothers this, that, or the third or whatever, it's like, all right, might have something to it, you know what I'm saying? But just simply bringing it full circle again. It's all within. Just a reminder. Psychopomp shows up. Again, don't have to label it evil or bad or none of that, because the psychopomp exists within you. And by the psychopomp existing within you and you acknowledging that, then you prevent the whole little external situation. So, simply put, now is vibrate. Not too far in the future, not too far in the past right now. Peace.